All right, we are very excited. We actually have not gotten a chance to talk about this movie yet because the movie, if you're listening to this interview, the movie is wide now. It's now officially wide. Ken, Jack, and I ran to go see it before when it was just in a couple places. We have on from Everything Everywhere All at Once, which I don't look, I'm not being hyperbolic. I don't know if we'll see a better movie this year. Ke Huy Quan, thanks for joining us. This is the reaction to this movie has to be just, and we'll get into your return to movies, but it has to be kind of mind blowing the way people react to this, and it's only just starting to go wide.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. This is really exciting. Yeah, I wasn't expecting this, especially being away from the screen for more than 20 years. I was really nervous before our trailer dropped, and then before our movie debuted at South by Southwest. And in the last, couple of weeks, I mean, oh my gosh, I've been overwhelmed with emotions, just hearing and reading all these wonderful comments about our movie and how the audience really embraced with my return to acting. It's brought tears to my eyes again and again and again. I don't think I've cried as much in the last 10 years than I did in the last few weeks. It's been incredible, and I'm so happy to be talking about this movie, to be talking about with you guys, and just waiting for the general audience to get a chance to see our movie.
For those who don't know the premise behind it, I'll explain it really quick. As best as I can without spoiling anything. But an interdimensional rupture unravels reality. An unlikely hero must channel her newfound powers to fight bizarre and bewildering dangers from the multiverse as the fate of the world hangs in the balance. In theaters wide now, directed by Daniels, the duo Daniel Kwan, Daniel Shiner, who I think if you're listening, you've seen Swiss Army Man. They did that movie as well, among other things. Some really small niche comedy things as well, if you're an Adult Swim fan, that people would recognize. But the multiverse is nothing like new, this concept in movies, but it was before this, mostly just tied recently at least to comic book movies, right? It mostly tied to Marvel stuff. We just saw it with Spider-Man. There's literally a Doctor Strange movie coming out, but the incredible thing about this movie, right, is that it's not tied to any pre-existing property. It is a fresh, clean, original slate, but with this multiverse concept, which is just kind of sweeping so much of media around it. So that has to be cool, right?
Well, I think 2022 is the year of the multiverse. Mm-hmm. and I'm so glad that people are really interested in it. But what's really amazing about our movie, and it's a little different from other multiverse movies, is that it's about a family who are disconnected with each other. And in order to find themselves, they have to journey into the multiverse and find themselves again. And all these amazing questions pop up. It's like, what if, what your life would have been had you make different decisions along the way? I often, fantasize and wonder what, my life would be like had Steven Spielberg and George Lucas didn't find me to be Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. What would have been like had there been more opportunities for me in the late 80s and the early 90s, and there wasn't, and I had to step away from acting. So I mean, it's just wonderful, and to have this opportunity to not only play one character but three versions of the character. It's incredible, and really it's our movie is a multi-genre mesh. It's sci-fi, action, comedy, drama, but at the core of it, I mean, it's really about love and family and connection. And I think the audience will, it's with a big heart. I think the audience is going to really get a kick out of it.
You just said something that you alluded to a little bit. You were on Kimmel recently, and he asked you about reading the script, and you mentioned kind of what you just said. You said it was a joyous read because it made you happy because you're like, look, these are roles, these are opportunities I didn't have before. So it was special in that sense because those roles didn't exist. And now you're reading something that is so incredible for you to grasp with culture and background, but also that had to also be a crazy script in general. Did you have to go back a couple pages now and then because you're like, wait a second, this is complete craziness, this script?
Well, let me give you an idea how much I enjoy this script. I was scheduled to go into audition for the Daniels. and they sent the script over. And I thought I was going to browse through it and just to prepare myself for the audition. I started reading it at 1 a.m. and I didn't finish until 5. And like you said, I kept going back because it was incredible. I'm so used to reading scripts where, Asian characters that I go into audition for, it's only featured in 1 page or 2 pages or 3 pages. I had no idea that the entire story was about this family. And I get to, be a part of this family. And it was wonderful. It was original. It was inventive. It was crazy. It was outrageous. And I laughed so hard. And I also cried so hard. It's, I think it's an understatement to say that this is a script that I wanted to read, for many, many years. And I just can't believe, it found me, and the Daniels gave me this amazing opportunity. Honestly, working with Michelle Yeoh, Jamie Lee Curtis, James Hong, what an amazing journey this has been.
It's just a crazy, crazy movie. And I like how you mentioned crying, because I've seen it twice now, cried hysterically both times at your big sequence. And I'm, without spoiling, the part where let's say the scene where you're wearing the thicker frame glasses talking to Michelle Yeoh.
Movie universe.
Yes, the movie star universe. That one, it gets me in tears every time. But anyway, this obviously you filmed before making Finding Ohana rather, and was not going into, or not being in acting for about two decades basically, and going from that to Daniel's film, like kind of a hard transition, because like when you're a boxer and you're away from boxing for a long time, they usually schedule you what they call like a tomato can fight. Like they make you fight a bad fighter so that you get back in the swing of things. But this is like a very high concept, very like insane movie. Was it a little bit of like a difficult transition to go from like 0 to 100 basically?
It was. I was really happy when I got the call that I got the role, but I was also super nervous. Luckily, I had 3 months to prepare for this role. So I got back into training for Taekwondo. Because this role is also, not only is it emotionally very demanding, but also physically very demanding. So I got, I started training again, and for the emotional aspect, I really, dig deep within me and look at my entire life, all those, ups and downs, experiences that I had as a human being, and I poured all of them into these 3 different characters. Looking back, watching the movie now, it's incredible. If I thought about it hard enough, long enough, I would be, scared shitless, but I was just so hungry to act again ever since Crazy Rich Asians came out, and I was really thirsty, and I wanted it so bad. So I trained really hard.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned Crazy Rich Asians, that had kind of inspired you to come back into acting. What was your first interaction with Michelle Yeoh like on set? She's your co-star, she's a legend, and kind of helped inspire your comeback.
Well, funny enough, she did her first movie in 1984. That was the same time I did Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. So both of us actually started in this business at the same time, but just in different parts of the world. And I waited 38 years to unite with her on screen. I loved her. I've seen all of her movies, loved her in every single one. She's freaking amazing. And the first time I met her for Everything Everywhere All at Once was our first table read. And I remember walking up to her and thanking her for Crazy Rich Asians, because that was the movie that got me back into acting in the first place. But she was just incredible, this humble, down to earth, fun, goofy. She loves to make jokes. And honestly, I don't think we could have done this movie with anybody else but her as our matriarch, leading, guiding all of us. She's the captain of our ship, So yeah, it was amazing. And honestly, one of the biggest thing I got a lot of things out of this movie, but one of the things that I would cherish for the rest of my life is my friendship with her.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I can't even imagine. That's like, that'd be That's like a white whale friendship right there, getting a legend of cinema like Michelle Yeoh on your friend list. Something you mentioned family a lot as far as it being like a main concept in this. And I think something that stood out for me in the beginning was their depiction of language in an ABC household. So like my girlfriend's American born Chinese and I stayed with her throughout the entirety of quarantine. And I think one thing like floating between sentences between English and Mandarin, I think is something that like people don't even think about, but like I would watch them float between like Mandarin, Canto, like Hakka, which is their like more sub-dialect, and then also English like mid-sentence. And that's something that's so cool to me. And I think that the way that they executed this was very cool, especially the one line when she's going through the noodles. She's like, why is there he and she? We just have ta. It's for both. It works so much better. Was that like something that you think is going to be refreshing to a lot of like people that don't get to see that sort of representation on screen?
Well, I think all immigrants will understand that because it's such a natural thing to do. When in anybody's household that that came from another country or speak a different language, you always bounces back between your native language and English, the language that you learn when you come here. So yeah, in my household, I mean, this was a very natural thing to do. I would often speak Cantonese with my parents, and then in mid-sentence I would switch English. And when I talk to my siblings, and when the Daniels wrote the script, I mean, it's so wonderful to see that they wanted to treat this Asian family with authenticity and integrity, and and half of the Daniels is Chinese, Dan Kwan, and that's what it was like for him growing up in his household, and so I'm so glad he put that element in this. And yes, it's something that is very refreshing to see and hear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
on a much
lighter note, how jealous of you were not being able to wear latex hot dog hands and fingers? Like, is that a regret? Do you wish you could have gone back and maybe worked it into the contract and the role?
When I read the script, I was laughing hysterically, and I go, "Oh my gosh, how the hell are they going to get Jamie Lee Curtis and Michelle Yeoh to do this?" And even though my character is not in that universe, when they were filming it, I had to stay and watch because it was just so funny. So when they would
the erotic dance,
that hot dog fingers and shoving it, all over the face and stuff like that. I mean, I remember the atmosphere, the crew, the directors who were all watching behind the monitors, and we were just laughing so hard. And I thought, Michelle and Jamie are so brave to go to places where they have never been before. So yes, definitely, and who knows? I mean, that was yes, and that is definitely one universe that I would love to be in. It was so much fun filming those scenes.
The little erotic dance they did where they were like slapping them in their like pants were, oh man, it killed me. Again, Crazy Rich Asians helped to kind of inspire you to get back into acting. Michelle Yeoh was part of that. And you mentioned how you had like sort of like FOMO because you're like, that's like, I wish I could be part of that. And there are obviously now 2 sequels being written for it. Would you want to be part of one of them?
Oh my God, that would be a dream come true. I love it. How can I not be? If they offer me anything, I would do it because that movie means so much to me. For many, many, many years, I wish, we would get the proper representation that we have been longing for. And honestly, my return to acting is proof how important it is, not just Asians, all groups of people to be represented in entertainment, and I'm really grateful that we're starting to see now. I mean, certainly things have changed in the last few years. There's still a lot more work to be done, but I don't want to look back. I want to look forward. I'm very optimistic. I'm very hopeful, and even though I'm not in Crazy Rich Asians, and you're right, I had serious FOMO when the first one came out. That movie will always have a very special place in my heart because it was the first time that we see, an Asian cast and hugely successful. It made over $200 million. So that was incredible. And yes, if they do a sequel, I'm gonna call John M. Chu and says, "You better give me a part in the movie."
Love that.
Do you and just kind of going off that, could you imagine like telling yourself, maybe not yourself as a kid, because obviously, it's a kid, you're getting into the game as acting, and now, things have changed, but even, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, like showing your younger self this movie, showing yourself Crazy Rich Asians, telling, hey, Shang-Chi is going to be this huge superhero movie one day. Like, would you even believe that? Like, was that a believable thing for you, like 10, 15 years ago, that we would get to this point where like these roles and these movies are here for you?
Well, when I was a kid, I didn't know. But you got to understand, in 1984, Steven Spielberg and George Lucas put a Chinese kid in one of the biggest movies of that year. And it wasn't a small role. It was a big role. He was the sidekick to Indiana Jones. And it was, nobody has ever done that before. So as a kid, I thought this was the norm. And then you gotta understand, I also follow that movie with Goonies. Again, another wonderful role. I was, part of the gang. And after those two movies, I was expecting to have a lot of opportunities. I was very hopeful. In fact, I didn't look for acting when I was a kid. Acting found me. And as I was getting older, I fell in love with it so much I wanted to do it for the rest of my life. That was something that I wanted to pursue. And ironically, it wasn't there for me when I started searching it. And it was really until then, in my late teens and early 20s, I realized how difficult it was to be an Asian actor. I mean, first of all, it's extremely difficult to make that transition from a child actor successfully into an adult actor. How many times have we seen that in the history of cinema, right? I mean, we don't hear a lot of success stories. And then being an Asian actor is 100 times more difficult. So had you told me is key, in 2000s, you're gonna have an Asian actor is gonna get to be a superhero. He's gonna get to be a romantic lead. Oh no, I would not. I would say, no way, you're out of your mind. We didn't see it. We wanted it. I mean, that's what we wanted. That's what I dreamed. But, for a while, it was a distant dream. And I didn't think it was possible. And that's why I cried when I saw Crazy Rich Asians. That's why I cried when I saw Shang-Chi. Mm-hmm. And I cried reading the script.
Well, and it's just incredible. And a reminder, it's out in theaters everywhere now. Absolute must see. We'll wrap it at the end. But you mentioned Indiana Jones. We can't not talk Indiana Jones. That'd be an absolute crime. I don't know if you can do this, but I want you to try, because there's just some things that very few people in life, like, I don't know, like winning a Super Bowl, winning a World Cup. I guess I'm just referencing sports now, winning an Oscar, but like you as a kid got to work next to, at the time, top 5 biggest movie star in the world. Is there anything remotely comparable to like how insane that was for you at that time? Like, is there anything you could like describe it that would put people in your shoes, or is it just impossible because you were next to Indiana Jones and Han Solo? Like, it's incomprehensible to me.
Well, first of all, you gotta understand, I didn't know how big the movie was going to be. When we shot Indy 2, I had not seen Star Wars. I had not seen Raiders or E.T. So when I was on the set making that movie, I didn't know that they were the most successful filmmakers and actor on the planet. And I was just being a kid having the best time of my life. And when that movie came out and seeing and hearing the reaction that movie got, in fact, we premiered our movie in London and with Prince Charles and Princess Diana. And I remember, like my mom and I were talking about, oh my God, this is incredible. And, and when you go to a premiere and you see the fans, I mean, this is, it was a sequel to one of the biggest movies of all time. And when we saw the audience reaction and we saw the fans, I mean, it was amazing. And to this day, 38 years later, I still have people come up to me and says, oh my God, I love you in the movie. Short Round is amazing. I wanted to be Short Round when I was a kid. And to this day, they're still quoting those famous lines. Dr. Jones or he no crazy, you know, it's wow. It's been.
I mean, they're still making another one.
I know. That's why I can't wait to watch it. I don't want to start any rumors. Okay, I'm not in.
We won't get you in trouble. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'm not in it. I'm not being a Spider-Man either. Okay, it's not like but no, I'm not in it. I wish I was, but what I'm really happy about it is that Harrison Ford get to don that fedora hat again, and crack that whip one more time. And you know what? Hey, if it's Indiana Jones played by Harrison Ford, I would be the first in line to watch it.
I do have an interesting piece of trivia about Indiana Jones that you might not know. That's very relevant because of the movie you're promoting. I'm very interested to see if you know this. So do you remember the opening dance scene that Kate Capshaw does in Singapore?
Yes.
That scene choreographed.
Sequence, right?
Yes. That scene choreographed by a man named Danny Daniels. So double Daniels yet again for you, and you didn't even know it.
Daniels. Wow. That is a very interesting fact. I like that.
It is only relevant for this, but yes, it is very interesting for as far as that relevance.
See now you just open up like another debate. It's like, you know, that's like, is that another universe?
That's the other universe of Daniels. Yes. Okay, so we want to get into what we call it the six pack. So it's a six pack of questions that I'm going to ask you for your rapid fire answers. They're going to be I'm going to say increasing difficulty. So the very first question.
I got to tell you, I'm very bad with rapid questions.
You could you don't have to be like super fast. Like you could take your time if you need it. So first is just name 3 movies that you consider to be among your favorite.
You know, it's hard, but I'll just throw it out to The Godfather. I love The Seven Samurai, and I'm going to be greedy. I gotta say, you know, Star Wars and the whole Indiana Jones franchise. I'm biased, okay.
That's good. I think that's a good answer.
But yeah, solid, you know, I love The Godfather very much. I love Akira Kurosawa, The Seven Samurai. You know, and they, you know, they influenced George Lucas and Steven Spielberg as well too, heavily influenced. And you know, Star Wars is amazing. Who doesn't love Star Wars?
The Hidden Fortress just is A New Hope. It's like the same exact movie, basically.
And every time, and honestly, every time I hear those iconic notes of Indiana Jones, bum ba-dum, bum, bum ba-dum, to this day, I still get goosebumps.
Oh, I know us too. Next question, relevant. What does Harrison Ford smell like?
I don't remember. He smells great. Okay, if you want to know, he smells great. Oh my God, he's one of the nicest guy. The most generous actor I've ever worked with. So cool. Yeah.
He definitely.
I don't think as a kid, I don't think I would go up to him and say, Harrison, let me find out what you smell like. I don't think that was on my mind. Okay.
Hey man, that was your mistake. You would have been ready for this. So you obviously got to work with so many great directors, so many great actors. But as of right now, what is your white whale co-star or director? Who's someone you're dying to work with?
How many times do we have? How much times do we have? Oh my God! I mean, I would love to work with Steven Spielberg again. I think he's the greatest of all time. You know, I love Scorsese. I love James Cameron. Huge fan of Christopher Nolan. I mean, it's just I can go on and on and on. And of course, honestly, to be able to work with the Daniels in this movie, oh my gosh, they are so brilliant. They are so talented. I hope you all get to read the script. It's brilliantly written, and to see them realize the script and put it up on the screen. They are constantly floating with outrageous ideas. It's constantly in their orbit. And they're extremely collaborative, and they are one of the best human beings I've ever crossed paths with. They are so humble and so talented. I mean, how many times can I say they're talented? I can say it again and again and again, but yes. Everybody, I would love to work with them again. I mean, oh my God, it would be a dream come true.
I have a storyboard book from Parasite. I would love to get that for Everything Everywhere All at Once, because just seeing their boards would be That'd be awesome. Your next question, this movie is obviously an A24 movie. Can you guess which one of these properties is not from A24? It's gonna be a tough one.
You're putting me in a spot. Okay.
All right. Number 1, Hereditary.
Okay.
Number 2, Melancholia, which is Kirsten Dunst's movie. Number 3, Tacoma FD, which is a series on True TV from the guys who did Super Troopers. And then number 4, Uncut Gems.
Okay, so this is not a A24 property.
Yes, one of these is not
Uncut Gems for sure. That's an A24. What is it? What are the other 3?
Hereditary, Melancholia, and Tacoma FD, which is a sitcom from the Super Bad guys or Super Troopers guys.
I think Hereditary is.
You're correct.
Okay, now I'm down to 2. So this is 50-50. Can I do a phone? What is it? Who wants to be a millionaire? A phone helpline.
Melancholia is the answer. It is the only not A24 movie.
Yeah, that's what I was leaning toward. Melancholia. That was what I was leaning toward. Yes.
We interviewed the guys from Tacoma FD, and we were cracking up with them at the fact that a True TV sitcom about a goofball comedy is just produced by A24 because it's just not something you would expect, but they wear many hats. Next question. Is there a project you auditioned for, really, really wanted, but didn't get?
I auditioned for Shang-Chi, but it's a small role. When you go on auditions, they never tell you how big the role is, especially when it's a Marvel movie. But yeah, I auditioned for that. I didn't know what I was auditioning for, but I didn't get it.
Do you know what it is now?
I don't actually. I don't. But again, I mean, it was another one of those movies that I had FOMO because Michelle Yeoh is in it. Stephanie Hsu, who played our daughter, is in it. I worked with Tony Leung for many years when I was working for Wong Kar-wai. We did 2046 together, and he's in it. Simu Liu is great. Awkwafina is great. So
Andy Lee in both movies. Andy Lee is in both movies. He's in yours. Exactly.
And Andy is in that. And then one of the action choreographers is a good friend of mine named Andy Chang. So yeah, I wanted to be a part of that movie. I didn't get it, but I don't know what role I was auditioning for.
Okay, so Jeff, you want to ask the last one?
I'm hopeful. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Maybe Kevin Feige will call me one day.
That is not the last of those movies either. So there is going to be plenty of opportunity there. That is, that's that they're not done making those movies. The Shang-Chi.
My gosh! I can't. What Kevin Feige did with it's incredible. It's incredible. It just. After
I'm seeing you move in this movie.
Huh?
This movie feels like a pretty good resume booster being in a Marvel movie. I mean, it's like so I don't know. Never know. Maybe we'll see you as an Avenger. I don't know. Last one.
Hardest question.
Okay.
Our last question is always food chain restaurant related. Applebee's or Chili's? And if neither, you got to give us your favorite chain restaurant.
Oh yeah, In-N-Out.
Ooh. Yeah, I guess that counts, right? That counts as chain restaurant,
right? I mean,
I should have seen that as California. Okay, that is like this. I'm from Texas, so my standard answer is Whataburger, but I do love
Whataburger. Okay, but have you tried In-N-Out?
Oh yeah, I love it.
It is so good. I mean, yes, that would be my go-to, chain restaurant. It's so good. I try to have it at least once a week.
I love that.
I like how you say that almost like in the reverse. As how someone's like, I try to eat salad like once a week. You're like, no, I try to eat In-N-Out once a week.
That's incredible. You should almost be like, you should be their like spokesperson. That's I have to get it once a week. I love that.
No. I love burgers. I love burgers and I love fries. So yeah, that's my answer.
That's gonna be my excuse now for my diet. Like I gotta have In-N-Out once a week. It's just,
but Whataburgers I'm very familiar with because my family is in Houston.
Okay, there you go.
When I go there, when I see them, that would be the place I would go and have burgers as well too. So yeah.
I've been here for 2 months and I've been eating better the last month. And I'll tell you what, very hard not to just order it and just have it delivered. I'm proud of myself for not having it every day because I absolutely could. Thank
If
you so
only-
much.
If only we can do it in a healthy way. We would love to have.
I'd have it
this.
every day. Yeah, right. This was an absolute pleasure talking to you. This was great, and the movie is just unreal. It's what, April 7th. I have to imagine we will be talking about this movie the entire year.
Yeah, I'm so excited. We open wide tomorrow, April 8th. And I can't wait for the audience all over the country to watch our movie and talk about it too, because there's so many different universes. There's so much stuff to talk about, and also those amazing action sequences. I'm very proud of the movie. Very proud.
We're your biggest cheerleaders. I think we've both been tweeting nonstop.
It's incredible.
Hey, April 8th, go watch it. Go watch it. We've been tweeting it, Instagramming it, everything. We're very hyped on it.
Oh my God.
Thank you so much.
Guys. Thank you for getting our movie out there. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Hopefully we talk again.